talking.
All right.
It's time for baseball. And like we say, the best 60 minutes of baseball you'll see all week. Welcome to the Eternal Baseball Podcast. I'm Mark. He's Brent. We're in our third season, but only for a heartbeat because we're getting right down to it. I think there's, 8 games left? Let's see.
Oh, man. Nearly at the finish.
Yeah, or it might be
Love
7. It might be 7. So we're 7. We're getting right down to it. And the addition of 2 wild cards, which is the first thing in each league. First year we've done it has been a big success. Because if I'm counting right now, let's see. 3 teams have clinched their divisions. That's Atlanta, the New York Yankees, the Oakland Athletics, all sewn up. But still alive, we've got Baltimore, Birmingham, Boston, Cubs and White Sox, Reds, Guardians, Kansas City, Dodgers, Expos, Giants. So we got 11 teams alive for 7 slots, right? 4 wild cards and for 9. I'm sorry, because we had 8 divisions. We got 5 divisions. So all but 2 of those teams are going to make it, be it whether they win their division or whether they drop back into the wild card, which is the dance the Cubs are doing right now, since they decided to take their foot off the brake with 3 weeks to go. And oops, it's sort of a Cubby thing to do, though. But anyway, we will have our game of the week coming up for you tonight. And this is when we talked about it in our newsletter. It goes out free every Friday. I called the segment "My Bad" because we try to get every team showcased on the Eternal Baseball Podcast at least once a season. And if you're new, this is some knowledge we're going to drop. But if you've been with us, you know this is sort of the truth of Eternal Baseball. The longer your team has been in existence, the better chance you have of making the playoffs. It's simply, I don't say it's math, but it's history.
It's science.
You're pulling from a century of baseball talent. If you're the Tigers, the Reds, the Dodgers, Yankees, Red Sox, Phillies, okay. But if you're Washington or the Rays or the Diamondbacks or even clubs nobody would consider expansion clubs anymore, like the Mets and the Rangers, the Blue Jays, they're only pulling from 50 years and not 110. So they're still at a disadvantage. And so we know everything's going to have to go right for Tampa to really be in it. They just don't have the history to pull from. And we didn't get to Tampa until this week. So Tampa is ready for their close-up this week at 49 and 106. So I'm telling you, there's a chance. But
it's hard to call the farm kids up.
Right? Let's get the opener. Let's get the shift going. Like, what else can we do? They're playing the Angels, who aren't great, 76 and 79, but they get Nolan Ryan tonight. Yeah. And the coolest thing about this, Ryan's tied for the American League lead in wins with 22. And Nolan Ryan in Major League Baseball never won a Cy Young Award, which is hard to believe for a guy who is
That's hard to believe.
Hands down a top 10 starting pitcher of all time. 7 no-hitters, 0 Cy Young Awards. And I think his stat, ridiculous stat for Eternal Baseball, he's holding opponents to a 159 average. These are the greatest hitters of all time in their prime, hitting a $160 against the Ryan Express. But the cool bit is he might win an Eternal Baseball Cy Young before he ever won an MLB Cy Young. And the guy he's tied with atop the American League in wins is, of course, Cy Young, with 22 wins for the Boston Red Sox. So anyway, Brent and I have been on the short end of the pitching matchup several times on the game of the week. But we will take the Nolan Ryan half versus the Scott Kazmir half tonight.
I like our odds tonight, which means it's going to be a 10-1 rubbing.
It's gonna be a good show. So we're looking forward to that. But to get things rolling, let's take a look here at the week that was. So let me share my screen.
I'm going to close one door.
That makes sense.
Be right back.
You close the door, I'm going to open a window. Just like that. Hey, I think I did it right. Who knew? So here you go. It's a Marvel line where the Black Widow says she has a lot of red in her ledger. Well, pink is what you don't want in your ledger in Eternal Baseball, and boy, Tampa's got a lot of pink. Pink means one of the worst records of the week. But my favorite bit is they've had nothing but pink and white the whole week. Let me highlight them here and then this week they went 5-1.
Hey, close strong, right?
They didn't have a bad season. They just ran out of time, right? So,
there you go, right?
so maybe, and I posted when I was posting to the Tampa boards that we're locked into, I said, fueled potentially by jealousy of their MLB counterparts, because the Rays seems like just cannot lose in Major League Baseball. The Eternal Baseball Rays are getting hot, 5-1. Whereas the Angels, who they'll face tonight, were 2-4 this week. So, I'm hyping the fight. It might actually be something to watch. But let me hide the weeks that were, and we'll take a look at this week specifically. So, if you're looking over here in the left-hand column, I know it's really an eye chart when I get the colors going. But the Braves have clinched. Yankees and A's have clinched. The teams in red have been eliminated. They're done. And then everybody in black print, if it doesn't say clinched, they're still in the hunt. And two teams are hyper close to clinching. And I would say probably could be tomorrow. We'll see. But for good weeks, the Braves had a great week. The Red Sox had a great week. The Reds are hard charging. I'll show you that in the standings in a minute. 6-0 this week. Philadelphia 5-1. They've caught the Expos atop the National League East. But the records are so good, the loser of that division probably will snag one of the wild cards. So we'll explain it as we go along. And then Tampa, of course, 5-1. Very proud of them. The rough weeks, the Rockies, these kind of been rough years. Colorado, Miami, and Milwaukee all 1-5 this week. But the Cardinals, who had gone like 13-2, went 1-5 this week. And look at that, they're already in trouble again. So that National League North is super competitive. And I'll show you that in a sec. The Rangers and Nationals had rough weeks as well. Don't mind the book report printing behind me. I'm sure it's a real page turn. So anyway, we'll shrink that guy down. So and then
that's right, right. Yeah, Rob's seen this movie before.
Right? Yeah. It always happens. But yeah, bullpens and I aren't the closest of friends. I was playing a Yankee game the other night against Birmingham, and Josh Gibson has had a rough year, which is hard to believe, but it happens. And so the backup catcher is usually a guy named Louis Santop, great player from the Negro Leagues, who's having a rough year too. So up comes the third string catcher, guy, great name, Biz Mackey. And Biz Mackey is incredible. So Gibson's actually been playing DH in some right field because Biz Mackey is a higher rated catcher, which is kind of ridiculous because Josh Gibson was not all bad. But it was third string catcher Louis Santop hitting a walk-off granny off Mariano Rivera as I'm playing it live the other night. And I'm like, whatever, fine. Not that Louis Santop didn't have a hell of a lot of game, but okay, fine. Play on. Happens to the best of us, but it seems to happen to us a lot.
It's like the old Super Nintendo. Like the basketball games where you'd be up by like 15 and the computer would just kick it in.
It's totally NBA Jam. Like
there you go.
I'm expecting the guy to do 3 flips and then hit the ball, right? All right, so let me bring this back. We'll take a look at the standings and where we're at. So just going around the leagues, the Giants' magic number is 1 over the Dodgers. There's 7 games to play. So any Dodger loss or Giant win, and they'll lock up the West. So that's gonna happen. Just get ready for it. But then the North is super interesting, where St. Louis is up 2 games on Cincinnati and 3 games on Chicago. And I'll bring it up in a minute. I think Cincinnati and Chicago actually are the wild card favorites right now. Remember, there are 2 in the National League. But if you look at the records, Cincinnati's got 90 wins, Chicago's got 89. And then Montreal and Philadelphia both have 88. So whoever doesn't shake out in there, and the way it's going, like Philly's won, I think 15 of 17. They are red hot.
Wow.
So I think Philly's going to pull away in the East, but then Montreal has a real chance to grab one of those wild cards. So we'll see how that goes.
Let's hope. I love to see the Expos.
Yeah, I'm pulling for the Expos. Atlanta sewed up. It's funny because Atlanta sewed up the South. They were the only NL team to clinch, but it's because their division was trash this year. And Miami in second place at 64-91, 18 games back. So Atlanta clinches, and you're like, wow, the Braves are really bringing it. And you're like, not so much. They're 82-73. Like
Wow.
they're not real good. So we'll see how it shakes out. But Atlanta, at least they can rest their starters, I guess. Out in the American League, Oakland had a really good year. 92-63 wrapped up the West. In the North, Cleveland's magic number over Chicago is 1 game. So I hate to say it, White Sox fans, but you're going to get hung out to dry here. The Guardians are definitely headed to the playoffs. And that means, Detroit didn't make it. And our friend TD, not real happy. And I get it. And this is just one of those rolls of the dice. Almost everybody, batting wise, had a bad year in Detroit. And some of them just atrocious, like Charlie. I always get it wrong. Charlie Gehringer, I think. Normally all-world, all-star, even in Eternal Baseball. And he couldn't even crack their lineup after the first 2 months. He was so bad that Lou Whitaker basically took over second base. Not bad if Lou Whitaker's your backup, but it was a tough year in Detroit. Sweet Lou. In the South, Birmingham just had a rotten year. But they're going to win the AL South probably tomorrow, because 1 win for them or 1 loss for the Royals and it's over. I was dying for the Royals to make a run this year because Birmingham's usually pretty much invincible. This year,
chance.
Right? So vulnerable this year, and they could not get it done. So I hate to say it, but shame on you, Kansas City.
Rob has a question for you.
Oh, what do we got here? Yeah, there are more divisional games. So you would think somebody like Birmingham or Atlanta would feast on that weak division, and we didn't see it either way. So I have to look it up. But, there definitely are more games against division rivals than anyone else. And then in the East, the Yankees wrapped it up pretty handily, which is impressive given that Boston and Baltimore are the second and third best teams in the American League. They're your wild card winners for sure. We just don't know which is which because there's only 1 game between the two of them.
Man, to have 3 teams in the East possibly win 100 games.
Yeah, exactly, right. And poor Toronto, right? They went 69-86, but I think they're probably a pretty good squad, right? They just had this triple threat coming through, right? Can you imagine that road trip? Hey, we're going to New York, Boston, and Baltimore. So anyway, so the season runs through next week from tomorrow. Monday is the last games. And next week on the Eternal Baseball Podcast, we'll have a game from the last day of the season. And it's a total, I hate to say wild card, but we don't have any idea what that game is going to be because hopefully there will be a game that means something.
Yes.
And we'll have it for you. We'll have it for you live. And if your team's the home team, I'm really sorry about what we might do to
Tough
you.
break.
Trust us. It's not personal, right? It's always business.
Just poor luck.
But let me shake up the wild card standings here. And that's one of my only complaints about this program is that it doesn't show them automatically next to the other stuff. And they're never very, oh God, that's ugly. Let me get back from that. There we go. Okay. So your wild card standings here down low. And so it's going to be, I'll slide it over here a bit. If we're looking at the American League, the 2 best, or National League, best teams, 2 best division winners get a bye. So that's almost assuredly San Francisco and whoever wins the North, be that St. Louis, Cincinnati, or Chicago. So that means the Braves and whoever wins the East are your 3 and 4 seeds. They're going to play in the or for division winners, they're playing in the wild card round. So that means Montreal probably hosts as the 3 seed. They host the 6, so they host the weaker wild card. So if it ended today, Montreal would host the Cubs in a wild card game, and then the Braves, being the weakest division winner, the 4, they would play the 5, and that would be Cincinnati. So that's how it's going to, that's the style of how it shakes out. In the American League, Your two best teams are actually right now Cleveland. Cleveland and Oakland are fighting for that top spot with the Yankees. So the Yankees will be the top. They'll skip that first round. Either Oakland or Cleveland will skip. The other one won't. The other one will draw the weaker wild card team. Right now, that's Baltimore. And then this is where it gets tricky. Boston's the top wild card team, 97 wins. They'll play on the road 3 games in Birmingham against a team that won 22 less ball games. So a homegrown home field advantage underdog as Birmingham tries to shock the Red Sox. So anyway, it's a lot of fun. We'll get it done. Pretty quick, and then it's the off season, which is fun anyway. And we'll have we have it all. We have Cy Young Award winners. We don't have rookies of the year because there ain't that many rookies. But we'll have MVPs. We'll have team stats come out for every team, and then in the off season, we'll look at which guys might be swapping teams. I know. I think Manny Machado is the headliner of the class, basically, because he will have had more Padres seasons than Orioles seasons. So it doesn't happen. It's slow to happen. It doesn't happen a lot. But guys do change rosters. So next year we should have Machado the Padre. And then we'll open it up to Baltimore fans and say because it opens 2 slots, right? One of their inactives will become an active roster player. And then they need a new guy from the ether joining the inactive roster. And it's always something, it's always some Mike Flanagan or Mike Boddicker kind of guy who had a phenomenal career. Yeah. But wasn't quite good enough to make the 40-man. Well, we're calling you up from single A, Mike Flanagan. Love it. So anyway, look for that. It should be a bunch of fun. But now I think it's time for baseball. I got a dog looking at me. My dog Emma's giving me the evil eye. All right, so here we go. So this is actually the Monday schedule. And we've got Tampa and LA. And we'll control both teams to start it out. And we know our pitching matchup. So it's I forgot earlier in the series, this is the rubber match, because on Saturday, let's see, Carlos Pena hit a 2-run homer in the 8th. This is kind of cool. He hit it off Scott Shields to make a winner of James Shields. That's kind of cool. Tampa beat LA 3-2. And then today, Kendrys Morales hit a 3-run homer off Matt Garza to put the game away. The Angels beat the Rays 7-3 today.
Matt Garza. Monday, haven't heard that name in a while.
It's funny because there's that first Rays team that was any good at all, right? And it was like Garza and Shields and Carl Crawford. And, they never won a ton. Until they dropped David Price in, and then they were kind of off to the races. But,
wow, and they almost just got nicked by the Phillies that year, right?
Yeah. Scott Kazmir was good on those early teams, and now they just churn 3 new great rookies every year, and they're such a pest. Like they frustrate me to death, but they just never stop. They just churn talent, and.
You have to respect it, right? They've sort of taken over the A's mantle for that small market. Just
well, I love that
force of nature.
I love that the Dodgers pinched their head of player development, right? Like, or their president of ops, and I'm like, finally, they cut the head off the dragon. Oh no, wait, it's a Hydra.
Oh,
right?
And then some, right?
And they're back, and so I respect the hell out of them, but
their farm system though, just. Whew.
Yeah, and they never seem to give up on guys too late, right? Like they let Blake Snell go, and you're like, well, how are you going to replace him? He hasn't exactly set the world on fire in San Diego. So they're a little, in that way, they're a little bit like the Patriots, right? Where
you got a second guess, right? Why is this guy available, right?
That's right. They just seem to get every drop out of a guy before they let him go. And then off they go. So some of the stuff maddening. The first team to really lean into the shift, which was good for them, bad for baseball. The opener, which is bad for baseball, and I don't know if they'll ever legislate that one out. And they play in a Costco. Let's be honest, right? Like, come on now. But regardless, because we do have some Rays fans watching tonight, right? So respect to your whole organization. You guys are getting it done.
They do
But
get it done.
tonight it's only going to be a little hard because Scott Kazmir against Nolan Ryan.
Glassnose is injured in Eternal Baseball too.
Yeah, who knew, right?
Love it.
Anybody who says, "Oh, it's just fantasy baseball, it's not
There you
real," well,
This program is dialed in.
yeah, it knows what's up. All right, so let me get Nolan over here. And the funny thing is, there are some guys, a couple of real stars, who had rough seasons in season 1 and season 2. Nolan Ryan was one of them. Sandy Koufax was another one. Mickey Mantle was a third.
Has Mantle had a decent season yet?
Mantle's finally good this year.
Okay,
Not
good.
Great, but good.
Passable.
But the absolute hallmark, the cheerleader, the clubhouse leader is Steve Carlton, who's been trashed for 3 years running.
Funny, dude.
And that's just the roll of the dice. That the numbers are the numbers, but they do get randomized.
He must have just rebuffed one of the software programmers,
right?
like for an autograph back in the day.
That was it, right?
Like,
It's like the baseball writers who didn't like it, right? So, all right, so here we are. We're your Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
Yeah, Rob has a good point about the front office for the
here we
Rays.
go.
Sorry, I missed that one. Right?
Yeah, that's a good point. But nothing slows them down, right? Like, So let me get back. Rocket fuel going. Okay, so Angels. We're looking at we're facing a lefty in Kazmir. So OPS versus lefty. Now, usage means they've used this guy too much. His numbers are going to be a little bit restricted.
We'll take that for Trout.
but it don't matter, right? So plus I think we'll probably activate Bobby Grich tonight because he murders lefties.
Yeah, we can't play an Angels game without Bobby Grich.
No, well, and if Angels fans are like, how the hell don't you have Bobby Grich active? Look what he's hit against righties, 210. With a 556 OPS. And guess what? A hell of a lot more righties than lefties out there. But tonight.
Oh, man. And we can't get Chili in. Look at Chili's stats.
Yeah, Chili's hurting.
Wally Joyner. Let's do it.
Oh, look at him. He hasn't even played.
Let's do it.
All right, I'll entertain it, but let's see how the lineup shakes
Entertain it. This game means nothing in the standings.
Well, it means something to the Angel fans, but maybe they want to see Wally World.
Well, who doesn't want to see Wally Joyner?
So we got a ton of righties and Ohtani. Who Ohtani sucks against lefties in eternal baseball. In real baseball, he's not quite as good against lefties. But I don't know if we can play games.
Let's get him in there
without Shohei Ohtani. All right, we're going to sink him a little bit though. So if we're on base, Salmon's pretty good. Looks like it's Fregosi, who was traded for Nolan Ryan, I think, if I recall. I think he was part of that deal that sent Ryan come home from the Mets. DeCinces, I hope I said that right. Salmon, yeah, I know, and Trout. Nothing wrong with my good. All righty, Roto. And then what do you like with Bobby Grich, Mike Napoli, and Don Baylor? I mean,
let's go Baylor, Klaus, maybe Ohtani. No, we got to get Wally Joyner in there, man. Old time's sake.
Well, I don't have anybody at first yet. So, hey, if you catch Napoli, that leaves first base open.
Let's do it.
Oh, wait a minute.
Brian, we got to get Brian Downing in there.
Well, we got a problem here because Klaus plays third. We already got the census at third.
Okay, we don't need Klaus.
All right, no Klaus because we can't DH him without sitting Ohtani. Because last I checked, Ohtani don't play the field. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I made a guy lose his mind on Facebook this week. The thread went up and it simply was on a baseball fan thing, not team specific. It just said the greatest designated hitter of all time was ... And people were, Edgar, no, Poppy, no, Edgar. And I wrote, still only half a baseball player. And this guy, I don't even know his name anymore. Let's call him Biff Wellington. I think he was a wrestler. Hang on. I don't want to hurt anybody. Biff Davis wrote back, obviously you never played the game. Well, he's kind of right because you saw me play. But I was so proud of my response. I took this guy's name and I typed it into baseballreference.com and hit search.
Oh, no.
And then I screenshotted the top where it said, "Yeah, there is no listing for Biff Davis." Threw that back up. It was so good.
You're a glutton for punishment, man.
Oh, it was so. I don't do that much, but that was fun. And then I was like, "Look, Edgar Martinez had the same career WAR compiled as Gold Glove catcher Carlton Fisk. So, who do you think provided more value of those two guys?" And he's like, "I don't deal in hypotheticals." Whatever, get out of here. Get out of here, man. I said, "You should. They're great." But,
you should. They're great.
All right. So is it Napoli next or Ohtani?
Oh, we got a question. Oh, wait. Biff. Oh, we got, Rob knew his name.
Oh, shouldn't Doug DeCinces be an Oriole? Let me fire that up here. Hang on. All right, I'm going to lose the screen here for a second because I'm just typing it in on the same search engine here. Same window. Baseballreference.com. I know you all know it. It's best.
Wait, Doug D didn't come through Bend, did he? For some reason, I was thinking he was one of the.
I don't remember him.
Must not have. I must be thinking something.
Yeah, here's the deal. DeCinces played 9 years in Baltimore, but as a third baseman, he can't crack their roster. Because dig it, Baltimore inherits a fantastic player from the St. Louis Browns named Harland Cliff, who hardly anybody remembers. But Harlan Clift is an absolute beat stick at third base. And by the way, they still have Manny Machado, who's not a Padre yet in Eternal Baseball.
And that one other guy.
That Brooks Robinson guy, right?
Don't know
they
him.
can play Cal at third, too, if they want. So it's a really good point, John, that, by pedigree, Baltimore gets first pick on him. He just can't make their roster. But he can make the Angels. So that's how he ends up over there. And that happens once in a while. Matt Williams is a good example of that, where but in his DNA, he's far more Giant than Diamondback. But it's hard to make the Giants, right? And it ain't so hard to make the Diamondbacks. So him playing and hitting the cleanup usually for Arizona is better for the league on as a whole than him buried on the inactive roster in San Francisco. So once in a while you'll see that play out, but that's a really good point on where the census came from. So all right, back to it. Is it Napoli or Ohtani next?
Let's go Ohtani, Napoli.
And Napoli's catching, but you can play Downing at catcher too. But Napoli's numbers are better against lefties.
All right, let's do that. So then we just need Grich and then
a first baseman. Oh, look, my dog's awake. Thank goodness, because I'm pretty sure that was a murderer sneaking up on the house. Yeah, okay. So Wally's active. We'll sit down. Kendrys Morales. Geez, Kendrys Morales hit a 3-run homer today. I don't know if I can deactivate him. He's so hot right now. I guess it'll be Jim Edmonds just for today because he can't hit lefties. All right.
Wally Joyner. I love it, dude.
Wally.
I love it.
Yeah, all right.
Greg Rivers would be very pleased.
Who do you love? He loved Griffey more than anyone.
Wally Joyner was on the list.
Joyner was on the list. He loved Doc Gooden. So I remember those three.
And I forget his name. He's on the pit. The one he didn't have a hand on the pitch. He pitched for the Angels.
Oh, Jim Abbott.
Jim Abbott. Thank you. Yeah, he was a big Abbott fan.
I was gonna say Jason Pierre-Paul. No, wrong guy. Too soon. Anyway, all right. So here we are. Wander Franco's been inactive for some reason. Maybe that's why they're struggling. But we'll pop him on. And
we should win this game.
So activating those two guys. Whoa, my screen. Let me see. Poor Randy Wynn.
Jason Bartlett
playing tonight. He was a good glove. Of course, so was Kiermaier, but he's still getting set. All right, so here we go. Tampa against right-handers. So show of hands, boys. Oh, wouldn't you know Randy Wynn's their best hitter against righties. Show of hands, boys. Who wants to face Nolan Ryan tonight? So Baldelli, who I just activated, is sitting down.
Because he can't hit. You got it out for Italians, man.
He can't hit right.
Just admit it. Just admit it.
I'll put him in there. But he can't hit righties. This is Nolan friggin' Ryan. So again, your call. We'll see how it shakes out. So we got a little mix here. So it looks like we can mix up some lefties and righties here if we get a little creative with Crawford and Meadows. Randy Wynn is our best hitter against righties.
Yeah, Tino's Norm Cash.
Right? That's right. A phenomenal story. And there's video of it. Norm Cash brought up a table leg to hit against Ryan. He went to the back of the clubhouse, broke the leg off a table, and brought it to the plate. And the home plate umpire laughed his ass off. It was a great bit. Norm Cass is the guy for the Tigers in the 68 World Series. That was the year that Bob Gibson had like a 1.1 ERA, won like 28 games or something. They faced him in the World Series, and he just murdered them. I think it was a World Series record. He struck out like 17 Tigers in game one. And when they opened the door to the clubhouse and let the reporters in, Norm Cash was holding up his bat with his 4 strikeouts and said, "You guys want to see the bat that set the record?" Kudos to you, Norm Cash. All right. So we got Tommy Pham.
John's got a good point. We don't have Don Baylor in there.
We didn't have Baylor? I thought we did. All right, hang on, we're going back. I got Baylor. He's hitting 5th.
Oh, okay, good.
Wow. That's all right. Fact check us. We're wrong all the time.
All the time. Legitimately.
Wait till you see some of the guys we give the green light on the base. It's gonna be a good show.
Bad decisions will be made throughout the course of this broadcast.
Can't wait. Troy Percival's usually good, right? All right. So we'll go with Pham leading off, Longoria next. So one of you guys is DHing. Let's see. Meadows is, wow, Crawford's dynamite left. I don't want to move him, but I might have to. Okay, Meadows can play right. So Meadows plays right, Pham DHs, and Bob's your uncle, as they like to say. Look at this. That's our first apology ever on the show. I appreciate it. You're number one.
No need to apologize.
So here's Willie Adames, who frustrated me like hell when he was on the Rays. He was always the first guy over the fence, rushing the field, just grinning like a moron all the time. I was so glad when they traded him. And he's been even better with the Brewers, so maybe I need to get over it. Aubrey Huff is your first baseman. Shortstop's already taken by Adames.
Oh, you got
I mean, how do we not play one? Wander Franco qualifies at third, but we have a third baseman. I mean, the numbers say Adames pretty clearly, a 655 OPS and a 6 rating defensively. Franco is a 6 as well and 100 points lower in OPS. So, I mean, I could be convinced on star power.
I have no preference.
All right, we'll let it go then. So we need a catcher and a second baseman, and that's bad news because dig it. Oh, it looks like we'll play something.
Oh, yeah. Zobrist and Navarro. There we go.
Their catchers are god awful because they haven't even got who's the guy who came from the Mariners? Who's a Guardian now this year? He hits homers and nothing else. But he's good defensively. They don't even have him yet because he's more Mariner than
Zunino.
Zunino. They never even got Zunino. So, all right. So Gianna Navarro hopping on in, and look at this. We got ourselves a ball game.
Here we go.
All right. Here's the acid test. Will the audio come through?
Welcome to Angel Stadium for tonight's game between Tampa Bay and Los Angeles. Scott Kazmir will start for Tampa Bay. He's made 15 starts on the year and is 5-6 with an earned run average of 3.31. His second start against Los Angeles, he's 0-1 with a 14.73 earned run average against Los Angeles. Nolan Ryan will be on the mound for Los Angeles. He's made 37 starts on the year and is 22-13 with an earned run average of 3.03. His second start against Tampa Bay. He's 1-0 with a 3.00 earned run average against Tampa Bay. He's looking for his 300th strikeout of the year. He is sitting at 290. It's 77 degrees.
Today's the day.
4 miles per hour, in from right center field. Pitching for Los Angeles, Nolan Ryan.
My
favorite Wally Joyner.
Designated hitter.
Looks like he's 12.
Tommy fam.
he looks like a 50-year-old fourth grader, kind of, right? Like, I don't know what's going on there. So Nolan Ryan looking to get to 300 strikeouts on the year. Satchel Paige has 380.
Whew.
So just for reference,
slinging. All right.
I can pump these guys up a little bit because they're looking a little shy here. So get the big head shirts going and hand over Tampa to the computer. Now we're ready. All right, Tommy Pham. Oh, come on. All right, better. Baylor was not impressed.
Third baseman, number 10, Evan Longoria.
Evan Longoria.
Ball 4. Take your base.
All right.
Left fielder, Carl Crawford.
Digging this mustache.
Great mustache.
Come on. Actually, Don Baylor's like, come on now.
2 lady killer mustaches.
Carl Crawford hitting into the double play. I'll take it. Oh, so this is what it tells you when your guy with the new at bat goes beyond what they expected him to do in a full season. So
Pitching for Tampa Bay, Scott Kazmir.
But we'll go
leading
with
off for Los Angeles, shortstop Jim Fregosi.
Great bunter. We'll remember that for later.
Ball 4.
Oh, and we're in business.
Oh man, where are we at?
Third baseman,
41.
The Cinces.
Give me something to work with here.
It's early. It's a shame in the games that we had. I don't remember us getting to go nuts with Kenny Lofton or Ricky Henderson or anybody this year or Tim Raines, like all these guys, and we just never ever got to go nuts.
No.
Right fielder, number 15, Tim Salmon.
Tim Salmon, former Ben Buck. I think.
Yes.
Are the Bucks for that boy?
Yeah.
Go get him, Tim.
Strike 3.
All right. Oh, Mike Trout.
Center fielder, number 27, Mike Trout.
All right, Michael.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's a lot behind that.
Oh man, that's in the lot. That's in the parking lot. Oh man.
Take your time, Mike. Swim upstream. Digging it.
Left fielder, Don Baylor.
On the sidebar here, the people who go, Mike Trout, he's never won anything. Yeah, like Ernie Banks, right? Like Ted Williams, right? You can only do so much.
Yeah,
Right?
there's no more Trout doubting. Come on.
I wish he was a better general manager. I do. But so far, they only asked him to play center field. Here's Don Baylor. Let's see if he can get hit.
Ball 4.
I mean, at some point, they're just going to trade him across the city to the.
Designated hitter.
Don't you think? I mean,
17.
they'll keep him he'll stay in the city, won't have to move. And,
I think they are terrified that that's where Ohtani's going to be.
oh,
Because
okay,
the Dodgers spent no money this offseason at all. And it's like, and they have some money coming off the books. And he wouldn't have to move. A lot of, not all, but a good portion of Japanese players prefer to stay on the West Coast just to keep that flight home somewhat manageable.
Yeah.
So I would bet, and that's a team that's going to match any offer for him probably, right? So if I'm a betting man, I bet Ohtani's still in LA next year.
Oof, man, that'd be a tough one.
That it'll hurt. And that's the real question, especially now that Moreno didn't sell the team. Because if he was going to sell it, a new owner might have said, fine, you trade Ohtani first, and then we'll finalize the paperwork. If they really knew they couldn't keep him and wanted to get a ton for him. Think what you get for Ohtani at the deadline, right? Unbelievable. But would your fan base ever forgive you? Unless you could blame it on the old owner and come in and go, hey, man, not me, bro. I'll try to re-sign him. And then if he doesn't, you're like, we did our best. But,
something to that, right? Yeah.
We'll see. Anyway, he's ready to go. Oh, they thought Baylor was going. He's 69% thrown.
Oh, man.
With 2
this
down.
game means nothing. Go. Send him.
I'll give it to you. Go, Don, go. He's in there.
All right, where are we at?
44.
Dang it.
Baylor got hit by pitches so often. you expect him to get hit by the throw. In the field second.
Well, that's the only years we remember, right?
Yeah,
Kind of like hefty Baylor, where you just his elbow would be like 3 inches over the plate.
And he's rated pretty well defensively. So a younger Baylor, I think, was no slouch.
Kind of Andre Dawson, right? We only saw the later Andre Dawson years too.
Dawson's rated as a 10 in center field.
Yeah.
So obviously
did not see those years for sure.
No, obviously he could pick it before 10 years on AstroTurf ruined his knees. But anyway, here's Shohei.
And Rob Flash Baylor.
Right?
Oh man.
I don't know.
Oh, Crawford.
Center fielder, Randy Wynn.
Randy Wynn. Great bunter. We'll see. No, Bobby Gritch's mustache has it.
You're not getting that past Gritch.
Right fielder,
How jealous is
17,
Wally Joyner
Austin
of Bobby Gritch's
Meadows.
mustache right there? Austin Meadows gives it a ride, but Tim Salmon's up to the task.
Shortstop, number 1, Willie Adams.
Adams, whatever. It's not a mistake that I got Salmon in the California Angels hat, right? That's just cool. So represent. All right, Willie Adams. Yeah. I think the term I
Catcher,
coined for him,
Mike
I didn't
Napoli.
coin it, I just attached it to him, was preening schmo. That's what I always felt about Willie Adams. Not really for any reason other than he tortured my Yankees a lot. So happy to see him go. There's Mike Napoli.
Yeah, right. Wally Joyner. That's
Bobby Gritch.
Yeah, that's a good point. Hey, Napoli's 61% to steal, Renato. I'm just saying.
wow. Man, they do not rate Navarro if that's the case.
Yes, a 4-arm, 6 defense.
I guess we wait.
All right. We are up 2-0.
Strike 3.
Oh, Bobby Gritch.
First baseman, Wally Joyner.
Wally Joyner.
Wally Joyner. Doesn't get any better than this.
Remember the argument back in the day was Joyner or Canseco? And no offense, because Jose had some help, right? But here's Jim Fergosi.
There's some alternate universe where Joyner just went on the juice. Look like Ultimate Warrior. Just
Yeah. He would come and shake the base. All right, here's Doug DeCinces. Oh, look at that shot.
Oh, it's a laser.
Holy smokes.
Wow.
It's on, baby.
I feel like DeCinces probably had a pretty good mustache.
You would think. A lot of them super clean, though. Here's Tim Salmon. I can't remember the last time we had a laugher
First
in
baseman,
our favor.
Aubrey
on
Huff.
Sunday
Don't
night.
tempt fate.
Right, yeah, there I go. Bad me. My bad. Sorry about that. Here's Aubrey Huff making baseball great again.
Second baseman, number 18, Ben Zobrist.
Zobrist was a Swiss Army knife for a long time.
Yeah, he had a good couple of
in
years. there.
Chicago. Yeah, he was on
Dione
that Cubs
Navarro.
study team. I love it when I can get a picture of a catcher like this, right? I want the catcher pictures to show the pictures of the catchers to show them in the armor, but you don't want to hide the face, right? So that's a good shot. Navarro was a Yankees prospect originally and was the centerpiece of the deal that brought Randy Johnson to the Big Apple in what's known as a terrible trade for both sides. It was Nick Johnson, I think, and him that went to Arizona. Nick the Stick. All right, Mike Trout. How you doing, Mike?
Somehow both teams lost the deal.
Right?
Bubble.
There was, I forget who it was. There was some poor guy who was traded for a player to be named later and then did so badly they named him as the player. Oh, man. That's awesome.
That's a funny phone call from the GM back to the other one.
Yeah, both teams are getting a guy who doesn't fit their system.
I mean, so what's the duration? Like, how long can you wait to name that?
I think I don't know exactly how it works. I think usually the player is actually already agreed on.
Oh, okay.
But it's because he's injured in the minors or
Okay.
They don't have room for him on their 40-man or something or stuff like that. So I think it's pretty rare. I think it must have been the guy came over and I think he was slightly hurt.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And so the guy went,
instead of just canceling it, they just
he was like, I don't want this to be a big deal and I don't want this to get in the papers. So, but yeah, the guy's got a bad wing and it's getting worse. So let's just get back to square on this. And the other GM, I think, probably appreciated him not going public with it.
Gotcha.
And they just said it. They said, let's just embarrass the player instead. Okay, we'll go with that.
Yeah. Who got traded for the bag of balls and the?
Oh God, I remember that a bit though. One of the bits, and I liked him when I was young because we're all dumb when we're young. But Jim Rome had the best nickname for Baylor when he was managing the Rockies, because it is kind of ridiculous that baseball managers have to wear the same uniform as the players. Could you imagine that in the NBA or in hockey?
The most obvious case was Lasorda, right? Like,
right, yeah.
Lasorda would just kind of be like,
Baylor got big at the end of his career, and more so as a manager. So he was this titanic figure of a man in those early Rockies purples.
Oh, okay.
Jim Rome nicknamed him Grimace, which oh man, it was so good.
Lord.
But anyway, no problem with Don Baylor here. But Carl Crawford's a wizard and left, so not going anywhere. Here's Shohei. Austin Meadows puts it away. Tommy Pham, who is a name, not a sound effect. I don't even know what happened there, but it was a poor play by Gritch, I guess. Pham is safe at first. And he's 92% to run, Rono. We're not going to let that happen. It eerily
not with Wally Joyner on the case.
It silenced the crowd, though. It was weird. All right, here's Evan Longoria. I promised people the fastest 60 minutes in baseball, so.
Oh, yeah, we got to pick it up.
We got to pick it up here.
Strike.
There you go, Nolan.
Ball 4.
And Crawford taking this walk. As a Yankee fan, I was kind of happy how Crawford's career ended up, because he was a nightmare when he was in Tampa. Hated seeing him come to the plate. And then Boston took him, and he was awful in Boston.
I thought he was going to be a monster when he went to the Red Sox with that short porch.
Jesus.
Just,
they brought in Crawford, Adrian Gonzalez, and Kung Fu Panda in like a 2-season span, and every one of them was just garbage.
I guess they don't call it the short porch in Boston, do they? What do they call that?
The monster.
No, what do they call that?
Right field?
Yeah.
Heskey's pole.
Yeah, but do they have a nickname for it? I mean, it's so far in, but they don't call it the short porch. That's the Yankee Stadium, right?
That's the Yankee. That's the Yankee thing. But yeah, you're right. And has that low wall too, right? Once in a while you'll see a guy actually go over it.
Yeah, I thought he was going to be a monster when they announced that deal. But man,
for a guy who had a lot of range as a left fielder, Boston is maybe not where you want to be, right? With that postage stamp outfield. But
oh man, that was a weird, precipitous drop off.
Yeah,
he must have just not felt comfortable there at all.
Yeah, and right after that, I was glorifying that as a Yankee fan, and then I'm like, Dad, we just stole Ellsbury.
Right.
Oops.
But we talk about the Ellsbury deal, though. I mean, they signed that so fast, right? Yeah. With Scott. What's his agent name? Scott Boris. Yeah. When Boris signs that quickly, you know, he didn't do a good job negotiating, right?
I remember at the time I was happy because they had just taken Ellsbury from the Red Sox. And like the next day, I was at a Dunkin' Donuts drive-thru. I live in Rhode Island, and a guy had tried to scrape off an Ellsbury bumper sticker and couldn't do it. Like only got parts of it off, and I just knew he was up at like midnight the night before trying to get it off and getting pissed off that he couldn't erase Ellsbury from his car fast enough.
Dang.
And as a Yankee fan, I remember going, my only hang up is he and Brett Gardner kind of the same player. Turns out I was wrong, right? Not even close.
Too bad.
Austin Meadows gives it a run. but Mike Trout.
So Rob says like 290. Yeah, I thought Crawford was gonna just.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, did not happen.
Well, that's why I'm not working in the front office anymore.
Right. Willie Adames hit it to Don Baylor. No big deal. Aubrey Huff storming the Capitol. Look it up, kids. That was funny. Here's Ben Zobrist.
Ball 4.
Oh boy.
Take your base.
Nolan Ryan.
Brett Gardner had working legs.
Yeah, that's true.
We have a soft spot for Ellsbury because he grew up near our hometown.
Yeah, about an hour north, right? He was a Madras Buffalo, I think.
Madras Buffalo, that's right. Dude, he must have just crushed. I forget what league Madras was in, but he must have hit like 750.
Yeah, whatever the league below the Intermountain Conference.
Right.
That was
God, he just murdered people.
Here's Jim Fregosi lining out. Doug DeCensus. 3 RBIs today.
I probably told the story already, but our freshman team, we used to play like the some of the varsities for the smaller cities. So we went to Culver. Remember Culver near Madras?
Yeah, on the way up.
And we were freshmen. We go up there, and they had a senior playing for his name was, I think it was like Tony Ibarra or something like that. But he had 2 homers off us that game. And in the stands, he had his ex-girlfriend who had his kid in the stands with him. And she was sitting next to and apparently friends with his current girlfriend who was pregnant.
Oh, boy.
We were just like, man, this guy's amazing.
So
this guy is a boss, man. Like
follow my logic here, Roto. Those weren't his first 2 homers, were they?
Right. It's like this guy has his life dialed in. All of us freshmen were like, wow, this guy.
Yeah.
Tony Barr.
He's got his whole life set, right? Kids. Poor guy.
I would like to pay for your seminar, sir.
I think they aren't. I think they're done with Ellsbury. It's not like the Mets and Bonilla, where it's like in perpetuity. But here's Tim Salmon.
Strike 3.
Oh, sitting there. Tommy Pham. I think Nolan might win his 23rd today. Oh, Baylor dive. Out chance 51%.
Mike Scioscia better say yes.
Oh, great play, Don.
Way to go, Don Baylor.
Here's Evan Longoria. Joining with the stretch? Yeah, you're not even close.
Oh.
Nah, Salmon's coming in. Lovely. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Angels up 5-0. Oh, Trout got some of that too. But nope, Meadows is on it. Sounded better than it was. Don Baylor.
Whoa.
Foul ball, but Crawford's in the crowd.
Did he get it?
He got a hot dog. Randy wins all over that. Fine. Here's Shohei Ohtani, 0 for 2 tonight.
Ball 4.
Walking.
Take your base.
Let's see if it's showtime on the bases, Roto. 42%.
Give me something to work with.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Mike Napoli gets into one, but Randy Wynn is tracking it. And he puts it away. Speaking of Randy Wynn.
Rob, soft breath.
Right? Mustard or nacho cheese with the pretzel, Roto? I'm a mustard guy.
I think you got to go mustard. Yeah.
My whole family hates mustard, which is weird because I'm more German than anything else. My wife's more German than anything else. Nobody likes mustard. I don't get it.
So how German are your kids?
Probably about half.
Yeah. Nice.
Or so.
Oh, Rob's a cheese guy.
I don't have a problem.
Block.
Right. I did ban Rob once on accident. Apologize for that. If you weren't watching, that's when the speaking of Germans, by the way.
Right.
That's what a
good segue.
We'll call him a retro political enthusiast from Europe.
He had some antiquated political views.
Just bombed our chat. And I'm like, you're bombing our podcast? But I panicked and I banned Fast and I banned Rob too.
It's like you got to go, man. I mean, if you're in his shoes, you got to go for the biggest audience, right?
Right. I'm like, that guy's dedicated. If he's like, which podcast haven't I hit yet? Oh, yeah. Brewers, Rangers? I'm there, dude.
A tongue.
Right? There's Austin Meadows. Walking. That's no surprise. Ryan walked a lot of guys.
Pinch hitting for Tampa Bay. Carlos Pena.
Oh, no. It's falling apart, Weber.
I love that they got the nya right, though, for Carlos Pena, who hit like 44 one year, right? Like, he was a beast for a little while.
I just love that you panicked, dude. Started like just clicking away.
I've never done that before. Like, I was just like, is there a ban everybody button?
You just cut the broadcast. Like,
we're not panicked. It was bad. Here's Aubrey Huff. Oh, and he sends one down the line. Salmon cuts it off, but they'll hold him to a single. Meadows at third. 1 out for Ben Zobrist. Ryan's throwing 103 pitches, but he can throw 140. So I'm not too worried. And Zobrist makes me a profit. Look, Fergosi's looking up at it.
He's tracking it.
I'm getting so good at this game. That was actually an infield fly. Batters out. That's cool.
All right. We got to strike out Navarro here. Come on.
Now, I'm just going to
say. Don't even think about it.
If you're Tampa,
Ryan's going the distance. Come on.
No. I'm going the other way.
All right, you figure it out. I'll be right back.
There's no way Navarro's hitting here. The 9-hitter with the bases loaded and 2 outs. So, pardon me for overstepping the bounds here. But we're going to take control of Tampa here. Who's your best hitter against righties that we aren't seeing? Oh, Jason Bartlett. Well, it ain't going to be him. So, Biz, I'm making the executive decision here. We're going to pinch hit for Navarro, the 9-hitter, with the bases loaded down 5-0 I think we're in the 7th inning. So, it's going to be
another catcher?
Yeah, they do. That's a good question. But Toby Hall is up to the challenge.
We probably should have started Toby Hall. Let's be frank.
Oh, Toby. So, Randy Rosarena, come on down.
Pinch hitting for Tampa Bay.
Have you seen his homer thing
Randy
now?
Rosarena.
He runs the bases fast enough, but when he gets past third base, he stops and goes, looking at the Rays dugout. So, at least it's his own squad, right? And then he comes home. Pulled that on the Yankees about a week ago, and the Yankees hit him the next 2 at-bats. But he hit one again, I think, in Friday's game, and it was a tight game. Garrett Cole on the mound. And Cole wanted to hit him, right? But it was like a 1-0, 2-1 game most of the way.
Did he do it again?
So, yeah, after he hit it, yeah.
Wow.
So, and I don't know if it's a Yankee thing or an everybody thing, but.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, anyway, here's Randy. And I got to give control back to Tampa. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, if as a teammate, right? As long as he's the one getting plunked.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Go for it,
Yeah,
man.
if he's getting hit, okay. And if it's pumping your own team up, okay. I always kind of liked it when they'd hit the next guy, though, right? Because that's what's going to end it.
Yeah, right.
It's me coming back to the dugout going, look, man, cool pose and all.
I read. When Brandon Lowe takes one in the ear or whatever.
All right, let's see what's up. Nolan Ryan, Randy Rosarena. Striking him out.
All right,
here we go. In comes Toby Hall. Toby Hall fans rejoice.
You're right. This is going to do numbers, man.
He's a good pick, though.
Let's be honest, that's a pretty good sized crowd for the last week of the season.
Yeah, not bad, right? Good weather in LA. All right, here's Bobby Grich. That doesn't have distance, Bobby.
Is Toby Hall up to the task, though?
No pressure, Toby Hall. Oh, no, he dropped it.
Did he really? I love it.
He's cold, man. He just came in off the bench. Hall is under it. He dropped it.
Ooh, man. Thought he had the night off.
Right? He's still taking the night off, to be honest with you.
Ooh, Rob coming to Randy's defense.
Oh, let's see here. Yeah, all right, fair enough. Bobby Grich.
Come on, Wally. We need you.
All right, here we go. Oh, look at this. Who's the prophet?
I love it.
And the Angels have been dealing with Kendrys Morales most of the year at first base. Who knew?
That could have made all the difference for this.
It's Wally World, baby.
Player of the day.
Here's Jim Fregosi. I'm not sure why Kazmir is still in this game, except maybe they don't care, but it is 7-0. Oh, boy.
Oh, man. Oh, man. That's gone. That's gone.
It's off the wall.
Oh.
But Kazmir is still in there. One more pitch and he'll be tired. I mean,
it's 7-0. I don't think we worry about it.
Yeah. Let me just see how ugly we can make it. We don't get this opportunity very well. We've never done this before. I don't know what to do with my hands. All right. DeCinces to third. Safe chance 48%.
Why not, man? We're playing with house. We're playing with house money right now.
Run, Doug, run! He's in there. Hey, 9% chance to steal.
Should we do a like a bunt for bait? No, it's Trout.
Not bunt with Trout. Eternal baseball, so real. Mike Trout is missing the playoffs. Oh,
ooh, ouch, man! That feels a little uncalled for.
See how I played both sides there? Trout's 54% to steal. So if you want to do some goofy double steal thing here, I'm totally down with that, Roto.
Let's let Don Baylor get hit by a pitch, and then we'll figure it out from there.
Triple steal, Roto. Triple steal.
Oh, he's onto us, Toby Hall. Dang it!
He's like, that Roto guy's crazy, you know. And Crawford catches everything. Ryan appears strong. All right, I'm down with it. I'm not going to the pen. I'm afraid of the pen. I don't care, Tommy Pham. Knock yourself out. Oh, 92% to steal, man. And an eerie hush. Also. Oh, they're back. Okay. 74. Pham doesn't even care. It's 7-0, right? Like, all right, fine.
He's like getting some golf reservations going there.
He was at 93 and he didn't go.
It's like, I don't want to risk anything.
Yeah, let me look at the scouting report here. Oh, lazy. I'm just kidding, Tommy. But 95 to go, Roto.
Let's let him give it a chance.
I want to see it just to see.
You're not going to run on Napoli. Come on. Turn it. Oh, he's
I got Pham though.
Oh, Crawford. Hey, we're not turning that one.
97.
Let's see it.
Let it go just to see it?
Let it go, yeah.
Oh, lazy bastard. Mike Trout's under it. Doesn't even put the shades down.
It's the equivalent of a team running out the clock when they're down by like 30
Tampa Bay,
with like
number
a minute and a half left.
Andrew.
Look at this.
Oh, Kittredge.
Kittredge, who's a really good reliever. Let's see if Shohei Ohtani can give the home fans something to be excited about.
Yeah, Rob wants to see the fight.
Oh, yeah, it's a good idea. I'd pay to do that. Might be the only thing the Rays win this week. Oh, Mike Napoli. Sitting down. Bobby Grich. Sitting down.
Wow.
All right, so we go to the ninth.
Here we go.
Angels up 7-0. Here's Austin Meadows. Sitting down.
Shortstop, number 5, Wander Franco.
Pinch hitting for somebody. I don't know. Where is it? The hell with it. You can't say that on the air. Nobody's listening. And here's Aubrey Huff, the last hope. Ryan is tired now, having thrown 142 pitches.
Oh, let it ride.
But we do not care.
Strike 3.
Sit down, Aubrey Huff.
All right. 4-hitter, man. Look at that.
Stadium, Los Angeles 7, Tampa Bay 0.
And Kazmir had plus stuff.
He's now 23 and 13.
Not to Wally Joyner, he didn't.
Loss. He is now 5 and 7. Mike Trout hit home run number 23 on the season. Doug DeCinces hit number 7. Wally Joyner hit number 1. Time of the game, 3 hours, 10 minutes.
I mean, it's kind of a Nolan Ryan line, right? 9 innings, 4 hits, no runs, 4 walks, 6 strikeouts.
Yeah, needed about 5 more Ks, and that would be the perfect.
He'll get 3. He should get 300 because he will get another start. Still 7 games left, so he should get one more start. Try to crack 300. But player of the game going to be pretty obvious, I think. Here it's
Wally
Nolan
Joyner.
What did Joyner end up going? Let's see.
He was like 1 for 3 with the 2-run dinger, right?
Yeah, 1 for 3, 2-run homer. All right, I'll
Player
take
of the day. That's his first at bat of the year? At bats of the year?
I think he hadn't played yet. Yeah. Dude, he's incredible.
Man, that slugging percentage is going to be outrageous.
Right? I should have started him earlier in the year. My bad. But anyway, we hope you appreciate that. I know the Angels fans did. And one of the only fan pages we're linked to that's player specific is a Nolan Ryan fan page. So we hope everybody from the Nolan Ryan Facebook group enjoyed watching the Ryan Express roll over the Tampa Bay Rays 7-0. So if you're new to Eternal Baseball, thanks for joining us. You can find us on our homepage. That's eternalbaseball.com or on Facebook, on Twitter. We're easy to find. We have team-specific message boards on our homepage. That's where the box scores go up every day. And like we said, there's only 7 games left in the regular season. And then the playoffs start a week from Wednesday. I think it's May 23rd. So pay attention. We got some wild cards to win, some divisions to settle, and then some playoffs to get to. But we've got one more week in the regular season. We will see you next Sunday night when, I mean, we call it wild card basically, right? The best game, and hopefully it's one. I mean, it could be a playoff preview, and that's fine, but I hope it's a game that actually decides a division or a wild card. We'll have it for you next week.
And we will blow it for whatever the home team.
Yes, we will. But we're learning. We didn't go to the pen. We did just fine. We didn't steal many bases, but we avoided the pen. So we're learning. So old dogs, new tricks. We hope you enjoyed the show, and we will see you next week.
Thanks, everyone.
For another edition of the Eternal Baseball Podcast.